Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This is Serenity Dude. And today I had an interesting topic that has been coming up throughout the day. And one thing cool about the program is I've noticed that certain themes will be for certain days. One day there will be a theme that just seems to continue throughout the day. The theme for today is serenity. And where it started off was this morning, I received a text from somebody in the program, and this is how it reads. As I continued to go to meetings and work the steps, something began to happen to me. I felt confused because I wasn't sure what it was that I was feeling. And then I realized I was experiencing serenity. It was a good feeling, but where had it come from? Then I realized it had come from the result of these steps. The program may not always be easy to practice, but I know I had to acknowledge that my serenity had come to me after working the steps. As I work the steps in everything I do, practicing these principles in all my affairs, now I find that I am awake to God, to others, and to myself. The spiritual awakening I have enjoyed as the result of working the steps is the awareness that I am no longer alone. So, serenity for me is actually easier to define it as what it is not. When I think about what serenity isn't, it's restless, irritable, and discontent. And I'm sure you've all heard that terminology before. If I'm restless, irritable, and discontent, I'm not doing something right. I'm not working a good program if I'm feeling that way. Now, I don't want to say that's always true. I could think I'm working a fairly decent program, and for any reason, out of the blue, I could feel restless, irritable, and discontent. Sometimes I feel like it happens for no reason. It just comes out of the blue. And sometimes it'll last for 5 minutes. And I've had days where I've felt restless, irritable, and discontent for just about the entire day. And I took steps to change it. I made phone calls, I prayed, I did anything I could think of, but it would not go away. And those are the tricky days. I'll say for me, those are far and few between. But when they happen, it's a really tough thing to get through. Generally speaking, if I'm feeling restless, irritable, and discontent, it's mostly because I probably haven't done anything constructive with my day up until that point. So it could be that I woke up and I didn't have anything to do and I just decided to lounge around the house and maybe veg out in front of the TV. After a few hours of that, I'm probably going to start feeling a little bit restless. Maybe not irritable and discontent yet, but if I sit there long enough, I'm sure the restlessness and the irritability are going to come. And so, serenity to me is when I've done enough constructive with that day. Now, that is the key. I've done something constructive up to that point, and I feel content sitting alone by myself with my own thoughts. Now, if I hadn't done anything constructive with my day up to that point, I'm probably not going to be okay sitting there with my own thoughts. That restlessness is going to get the best of me. So, there's so many sayings in the program that you're going to hear over and over again, and sometimes they get to be a little bit annoying, but they're true. Like time takes time. You all know that one, and it can get a little old, but it is true. And the other one, move a muscle, change a thought. Well, for me, that's probably the one I use more often than anything else. Because if I'm feeling some kind of way, restless, irritable, and discontent, I need to move a muscle. If I can move around, do something, key is something constructive. What can I do constructive at that moment that will help to relieve that feeling from me, or at least lessen it? It may not go away entirely, but I have to do something to make it a little less intense. And maybe there's not a meeting going on at that time. Well, the great thing about COVID, now I say yes, great thing, good things did come from COVID. One of those is that there are literally online meetings all over the globe at any point in time throughout the day. I can hop on Google at any time of day and type in AA meeting online. And chances are I'm going to find one that's happening right now in some English speaking nation throughout the world. It's great. I've gone to meetings all over the world. And some of them were very interesting. And you get to meet some very different people. So it's kind of cool. And so Serenity is something that I'm having to work for because it's not something that I understand very well. Because I would say prior to coming in the program, I really didn't know what Serenity was. I was always that guy that pushed for more. I want more. I want to do more. I'm never happy. The grass is greener on the other side. Let me get to the other side. And once I get to that side, I want to go to the next side. Contentment, that wasn't me. I could never be content. And that's another key thing to Serenity. How can I have a feeling of serenity if I'm not content with where my life is? So I think they kind of play hand in hand, contentment and serenity. And I guess I shouldn't say that's always the case, because I might not be content with the way my life's going, but I can sit with my own thoughts for that day. So there is a sense of serenity without contentment. But I find that if I'm content with my life and I'm content with how things are going, I'm probably going to have a better sense of serenity. And the longer I'm sober and working a decent program, I feel like serenity is starting to make more and more sense to me as I go. And it's not a permanent state. I've definitely found that out. It's hard to be serene all the time. I get angry, I get frustrated, and maybe I'm just having a bad day. If I'm having a bad day, it's going to be kind of tough to be serene about that. But again, taking action, trying to change that is pretty much key for me trying to get back to that serene state. But if I go and I sit alone, sit by myself, and I notice that I'm very uncomfortable, I'm not having that sense of serenity, and that is for certain. So I wanted to share my thoughts today. Again, that common theme that seems to be going throughout the day. I kind of hope it continues. And I just wanted to share that with all of you. If you have any comments on that, please feel free to share. And speaking of doing something constructive with my day, next, I think it's going to the gym. So that's going to be another thing I do constructive for my day today. And hopefully it brings me some serenity. Have a great day and God bless.